South Park, it's quite a unique neighborhood. It has these historical remarks of being a neighborhood that has always served the immigrant community, and it's a very mixed neighborhood.
South Park has the highest percentage of children of any neighborhood in the city of Seattle.
There's no movie theater, there's no bowling, there's nowhere where a kid could get a job.
We are next to a super fun site, which is being recognized federally, like we live next to the most polluted rivers in the nation.
These communities are affected in so many different ways, not only by the pollution that's in the area and has been in the area over 100 years, just the air that we breathe down here. It's one of the worst air sheds that we have in the state of Washington.
We do have a problem of gangs here, and if we weren't moving fast enough, then the gangs will be the ones recruiting these youth. Many of our kids also don't have structured homes. Either parents have been deported or parents have 2-3 jobs, they never see them. Our 14, 15-year-olds are raising a family of 5.
And they're obligated probably too in their household to help with the financial needs. How could there be such inequities in a community than there is in other parts of the city?
Our Dvyc Valley Youth Corps program has been in existence for the past 4 years. So it was very important for a community like ours to have programming that is addressing youth, that is also addressing some of the main things in the environmental justice arena. So our program combines both.
There's several aspects to the Youth Corps that are really important. I think one is that it's a job training program. In other words, you're teaching kids responsibility. They have to be there, and they have to be there on time, and they have to be prepared.
We give these kids job skills. Do not come late. Do not be absent. Follow through on the work that is required of you, and we're teaching you this for later in life. I feel kids need structure, they need discipline, and I think that in a small way they appreciate that, they understand it.
Something I'm proud about the Youth Corps is the fact that they actually support you in order to advocate for what you think it's right. And when you think it's right and it's not right, they show you why maybe you're on the wrong track, or they give you different opportunities on what to choose and where to go if you need help with anything.
One thing that the Youth Corps does every year is they put on a symposium, and they actually are the ones that are doing the presentations. They know what they're talking about, from environmental justice, what's going on with the air program, why are trees important, how can people be involved. They become that spokesman.
Because they wanted to make a change.
First of all, knowledge is power. These young people probably don't understand anything, like why do we have the highest asthma rates yet we have the lowest tree canopy? So it's teaching them what is happening in their community and then how to make a change. Because every person can make a change. We're empowering them to make that change. We're teaching them how to make a change.
I work for the Dvyc Valley Youth Corps, and what we do is we plant trees and we help for environmental justice. And the reason why we plant trees is because Georgetown and South Park had the highest asthma rates. And what we try to do is we're trying to decrease that.
I always tell them, you were born to be leaders. You just need to sparkle that. And they discover it in different ways. They are doing it. When they are taking care of their siblings, they are leaders. When they are walking, other kids to school, they're leaders. When they're outside planting trees, they're leaders. So I tell them, all this is leadership, and all this counts because you are making an impact.
I just want to start by introducing my friend Carla.
I've learned a lot of things. I've learned how to plant trees. I've learned how to stand up for myself in my community and what I believe in, what I think is right for the environment.
The Dwyc doesn't like make a positive difference in the community, but it also creates like a huge bonding, a family type of positivity, which in my opinion, it's really awesome.
It's been about 13 years I've been in this community, and I've watched a need for the kids to find something that they can actually own their community about. And that's what the Dwyc River Cleanup Coalition does. These kids have taken back their community. They're doing cleanups. They have started to develop leadership skills. They're talking about policy issues that I never thought of or imagined I would have a conversation about at a very young age.
You don't need to do big to change the world or change your community or change the environment. You just need to do the little things, like start in your own community, like South Park.
They're an amazing example. I can give you an example when we were doing the Seattle police search. They helped put together a youth forum to interview candidates, and they were real leaders in it. And so I hear their voices, not just in South Park, I hear their voices when I'm at City Hall, when I'm in other communities, I hear their ideas. And so having that kind of empowerment of youth not only makes a difference today, it gives us tomorrow's future leaders.
It's good like knowing that we're helping our environment and we're actually making a change.
I felt like I gained a lot of leadership skills, public speaking and facilitating. And now that I'm here presenting and helping out the groups, I feel like it shows what I've been improving and gaining through these years.
Dwyc Valley Youth Corp is a program for youth.
That's one of the things that this program really does, is it instills within them confidence in themselves and who they are, and that they can actually make a difference.
Now youth are making presentations to adults. We have youth forums where they get to express what is important to them. I really want to create this notion for the community at large. Look at the youth, listen to them. Youth voice matters, and they are going to be the ones that need to be defining, because they are being the ones that impacted and the ones that need to make these decisions.
We've worked with Youth Corps last year, some of their youth actually coming in, joining Port internships, focused on what is a green job, what are the different ways that the Port of Seattle touches environmental issues or sustainability issues, and what are the opportunities for us to really start thinking about how can we make more green jobs available for more people through the Port of Seattle. Those young people taught us a lot about how our internship program can be more equitable, can incorporate more best practices on how to build on our community partnerships that we have out in community, out in the Dwyc Valley, and make sure that our young people have a really good experience and see them feel empowered and feel like they have a stake in our community as well.
They have been my consulting group. We have reached out to them. We have conducted focus groups. They have been my editors when we write surveys. We truly need their perspective, their energy, their heart, their passion. They're forming a stronger community, and that is something that I always bring back to my agency.
Bowling, going swimming, such small activities.
Now they understand that the city is listening, the government is responding to their needs. So these are things that make a difference, because they are seeing that yes, it matters. We asked them, we have a graffiti problem for all the gangs that exist, so what do you think that we should do? They propose murals. So we've been painting murals around the neighborhood, and now they see that the graffiti has come down, and they felt it, and they are like thinking, wow, we really made a difference. We don't see this graffiti anymore, and we feel safer. And this is how they start developing this community belonging, this ownership, because when they create something, they're not gonna destroy it. So along with the voice that we're giving them, we're also giving them that power to understand how they made a difference themselves.
What's great about the Youth Corps is that it centers community, it centers youth empowerment with the environment. And with South Park being a riverfront community, being at the forefront of climate change and of those impacts of the community and communities of color, the Youth Corps is a central piece of the solution for the city to meet its climate goals and to empower youth, to pay youth, to center community in that discussion and that effort.
I work for sustainability and environment. This is a program that it's not only making big impact here in South Park and Georgetown, but also, that it's looked up as a model to follow internationally, which makes me extremely proud.
Okay, guys, hey, over here.
It's always heartbreaking that you have 40-some spots for kids, and you have 60 to 70 kids that show up. And you have to make a decision, because you have to be able to do a good job with what you have.
We have certain funding that allows for just short amount of youth. But I'm not very happy about that, unfortunately. I'm grateful for the funding, but then youth keep on coming back, you know, and that funding doesn't allow us to get them back.
That is the hardest part of our job, is turning kids away.
Youth and people in general are not changed overnight, and so how do we invest long term in a community? And that's really through sustainable funding. And I think one of the pieces that I hope organizations and funders see is that they are really invested in the health of the youth just as much as they are invested in the health of the community. And to be invested in the health of a youth means to stick with them.
First of all, I don't think programs such as the Dvyc Youth Corps can exist without funding. So sustainable funding is very, very key.
We need support from many different angles, from government, from civil society, industries, opening their minds, and like, how can we offer youth opportunities as far as jobs? How can we provide income?
How we teach these kids to eventually navigate their way into those jobs that are offered by the city, by the port, by the county.
We have touched more than 1,000 kids already. I want to see some of those kids bringing the stories back on how successful professionals they are. We have had already some graduates from college.
What you're doing and what you've been doing. Duwamish Valley Youth Corps has been amazing in their effort to bring young people together, to show them that they have the leadership skills that are necessary, and we need to invest in them, and we need to acknowledge their wonderful successes, because they are our future, and they are going to make this area safer, they're going to make society better, and I couldn't be more happy to be here and support them.
South Park has always been a resilient community through the years that I've worked there, through times of crisis, times of growth, times of stress. It brings the community together. The Youth Corps is a fantastic example of that, and it makes a lot of sense for us to empower and to grow those types of programs that really say, we're going to give you funding, we're going to give you opportunity to youth, the youth that need it the most, to build their skill set so that they can reach opportunity.
This program has been really key for new generations to understand the importance of having voice represented in community participation, but also the community seeing the power the youth has in making these changes.